a song, and a little romance. That's entertainment. Yes, the reason I sang that is because today we're going to be talking about the glorious era in cinema of the movie musical. And not just any music. Oh yes, and by the way, I have to introduce myself. I am Paul Westbrook, the Brantford film enthusiast. And today I'd like to talk about the MGM musical, especially because that pertains to a lot of the videos that I have. But first, yes, musicals, of course, started within the vaudeville circuit and then moving up into film. And musicals, believe it or not, were actually the first talking films, too. When films learned to talk around 1927-28, in fact, Al Jolson did a movie called The Jazz Singer. And The Jazz Singer was actually a talking film, mixed a little bit, mostly silent. They had talking segments and they had musical segments. And then you had the Broadway Melody movies, and you had Judy Garland, and starting off into the musicals because Judy Garland herself was a vaudeville singer with her sisters, which were the Gum sisters. Yes, Judy Garland was not her real name. Her real name was Frances Ethel Gum, and she appeared with her sisters, and they did a lot of music and dance and stuff. So that's what eventually became the movie musical, because the movie musicals were a great way for people to see musical acts up on the stage. And one of the extras on the Al Jolson DVD that I got home of The Jazz Singer is about an hour or two of just straight musical numbers from very early films that were just coming into the talkie era. So eventually Louis B. Mayer, when he established MGM Studios, they came up with the idea about being more stars there in the heavens, more stars than in the heavens. Yes, I got the quote right. And a lot of his studio movies pertain to movie musicals, such as The Wizard of Oz and some Shirley Temple movies, and they were a lot of musical numbers as well. But yes, The Wizard of Oz being one of the most popular, if not the most popular, movie musical of all time, as it was released in 1939. Went against Gone with the Wind. Gone with the Wind may have been the Academy Award winner, because believe it or not, Wizard of Oz was considered a bomb at the time, but it was actually, it endured as long as it has through the medium of television, which when it came on TV, The Wizard of Oz, that's how it gained its audience, and it really became popular, and to this day is an enduring classic. But enough about a little bit of history. I just wanted to give you a little small history there. Now, let's go to the That's Entertainment series. That's Entertainment was a very popular film series that they did on the MGM musicals, and they did at least 3 of them, and I have an extra one here called That's Entertainment, Treasures from the Vault. I'll explain each of them one at a time so that everybody knows what they're about here. This first That's Entertainment was around 1974 when it first came out. And they wanted to do a series of films which talked about a lot of the history of the MGM musicals. And you have Sid Charisse, you have Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, and Gene Kelly, and Bing Crosby, Mickey Rooney, all the great stars, Ann Miller, and Esther Williams. I'm going to open this up here so I can take a look and explain each little insert to you about the movies. And everybody loved, well, most people I think, loved the MGM musicals themselves, although there's some that didn't. And I know my sister wanted me to bring up Sound of Music, and I was like, yeah, okay, Sound of Music, it's good, but I remember I had I'll have to say this, an ex-wife that played the movie about 35 times in an endless loop. And now if you hear that, if you hear Mother Abbott singing "Climb Up Every Mountain" over and over and over again. It tends to get on your nerves. So, anyway, here we go. The scene index of the series here. There's an introduction by Robert Osborne, the late Robert Osborne, God rest his soul, who introduces each one. He was the host of Turner Classic Movies, and he does the introduction for each of these. You get films like Singing in the Rain, which is one of my absolute favorite musicals. I love Gene Kelly and Debbie Reynolds and Donald O'Connor and Jean Hagen, yes, the one that plays Lena Lamont. And she always has that, she has that very weird voice when she talks. So that's how she speaks. Yeah, it is funny, over the top, but hilarious. And you got Broadway Melody. And there's a song, Rosalie, there. Broadway Melody was actually the first full-length talking feature movie musical of its time. And you get the Indian Love Call, Pretty Girls Like a Melody, Begin the Beguine, The Song's Gotta Come from the Heart, The Melody of Spring, Honeysuckle Rose, and the famous Take Me Out to the Ball Game number. They'll Swell, The Varsity Drag. I don't think I'd ever really heard of that one before. On the Action, Topica in the Santa Fe, which is a really, really good song. Definitely. Transition to Sound, they go into the transition of sound here. It Must Be You, Got a Feeling for You, Reckless, Did I Remember, Easy to Love, Putting on the Ritz, yes, which is also very popular, and Dear Mr. Gable, which is Judy Garland on film. She's a very young Judy Garland, and she's singing and professing her love for the actor Clark Gable. And then you got Mickey and Judy by Any Name, so it's like a series of films with Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland, who Mickey was a very good friend of hers. They started at MGM, and Louis B. Mayer put them together, and they became quite the team. They did Babes in Broadway and Girl Crazy. I think that was another one that they did. They did Babes in Arms, which is a favorite one that I have at home. And nevertheless, they became very, very popular and well known. And they have Calamity James in here too. Calamity Jane was a movie that starred the great Doris Day. Yeah, she plays the title role of Calamity Jane, and Howard Keel, he plays, I think it was either Bill Cody or Bill Hiccup, one of the two. But anyway, of course, they were paired in a lot of MGM musicals, and thus became very popular as a result. And you knew you were popular at the MGM studios when they paired you up in a series of films. And some of the other good films here, like they have The Great Ziegfeld and The Good Old Summertime, Harvey Girls with Judy Garland. And Harvey Girls was about a group of girls that actually got jobs as waitresses on trains. They were called the Harvey Girls. And I'd have to look into the real history of how that happened. But anyway, yes, Judy starred in the Harvey Girls. High Society was really good as well. And then in The Good Old Summertime, Jailhouse Rock with Elvis Presley. I have a series of Elvis Presley films at home, and Jailhouse Rock is still one I'd have to get. Love Finds Andy Hardy. And Andy Hardy was Mickey Rooney's character. And they had Louis Stone, who played his father, Judge Hardy. And you have On the Town, another Gene Kelly, great Pajama Game, which I believe is Doris Day here. Showboat. Yes, they have the 1951. They have a musical number from the 1951 Showboat. Although I believe there was two or three movies that actually had that, so which makes Showboat essentially a remake. Star is Born, 1954. Yes, this one had Judy Garland. After she had done her MGM, she was she did the MGM work that she did. She was subsequently let go, and she did that, I believe, for Warner Brothers. At least I believe that would have been correct there. And then Sweeney Todd, which is a very dark musical type. Viva Las Vegas, another one with Elvis, and Ziegfeld Girl. But yeah, you get a lot of the classic numbers. Be a Clown, the Pirate Ballet, Broadway Melody Ballet, and La Cucaracha. I don't know if that song would be politically correct by today's standards, but you have to look at the fact that it was a different time. A lot of the songs back then were considered more just songs. Like today, you would look at something like that and be like, well, I don't know. But the trolley song, yes, with Judy Garland. And that, I remember that one was either Easter Parade or one of the two. Easter Parade or... but anyway, in the trolley song... Meet Me in St. Louis, that's the one I was thinking of. But in the trolley song, you actually hear one of the openings in the song, and it's actually one of Judy's friends walks in on her when she's recording the song. And they actually left it in the film. So to this day, whenever you hear that, and it's like, oh, hi, Judy, that's actually, it was a error, but they kept it in nonetheless. And then you got Gigi, Thank Heaven for Little Girls, American in Paris. And, yeah, right here you get to see a list, if you can get that, sis.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Yeah. Get a whole listing of different musicals that the songs are from. Because it's hard to talk about all of them at once, but, yeah, there we go. You got that. Yeah, none of my favorites were Gene Kelly. I know a lot of people loved the movie Singing in the Rain, but I also like the movie Brigadoon, which is Gene Kelly, and I believe it was Van Johnson. I guess they go to the Scottish Highlands, and then there's a village up there that only appears every 100 years. So they go there. Gene Kelly meets Sid Charisse, who plays one of the village girls he falls in love with. It's sort of like the Lost Horizon movie, which is in 1937, and Kelly falls in love with her, then they realize they have to go back. They have to go back to regular life, and then the village, you think it's going to disappear, and, wait a minute, I'm not going to give the spoiler away, you'll have to find out. All I'm going to, sorry folks, I can't give away any spoilers on the show. That's a no-no. So, anyway, you'll have to rent it or watch it. I guess people more or less buy them now. They don't really rent them anymore. And then find out. Then there's That's Entertainment Part 2. Okay, let's look at the treasure trove that's in here. Hope I'm not going long with it, sis.
Nope.
Okay, again, it's introduced by Turner Classic Movies host Robert Osborne. And I won't show you the insert because it's more or less the same movies that I was just talking about. And you get shows like Anchors Aweigh, Broadway Melody of 1940. They made a whole series of the Broadway Melody ones, starting with the 27, 28 version. Fame, which is, everybody knows the title song, right? Fame!
Okay, now I know it.
Forever. That one?
Yeah, I know it now.
Yeah, and then the great, and For Me and My Gal, which is, I believe, Gene Kelly and Judy Garland. And again, there's the Harvey Girls, Love Finds Annie Hardy. But this one also has some different songs here for the I Got a Feeling You're Fooling, La Chica Chica, another one of those movies that today you would look at, and I know a lot of politically correct people that be like, they actually had something like that. Oh, I don't know if they should air something like that, but I don't care. Night at the Opera, that's with the Marx Brothers. And the Marx Brothers, believe it or not, incorporated a lot of musical numbers into a lot of the songs, so it counterbalanced with the comedy. And you got The Lady is a Tramp, and Easter Parade, which is a really good song with Judy Garland and Fred Astaire. And Ink-a-Dink-a-Doo, that was Jimmy Durante. the famous nose comedian. He goes, ink-a-dink-a-doo. Yeah, so that was one of his numbers. Laura and Hardy, believe it. I could not believe this. When I looked in this, I was like, Laura and Hardy? I knew Abbott Costello had some musical things. I wasn't sure about Abbott and Laurel and Hardy, but I guess, yeah, it was part of it. They did a show called Pick a Star, and it was like a corporation of all different musical stars, and I guess they just stuck Laurel and Hardy in there. And Lady Be Good, Manhattan, Three Little Words, Tales of the Vienna Woods, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas with Judy Garland again. And Three Little Words, I'm not sure if that was Deanna Durbin, who was also, aside from Judy Garland, Deanna Durbin was a fantastic singer. I've got a CD of hers at home, which is really good. It has a lot of the songs that she did. She was absolutely fantastic. My friend Christina and I both actually liked Deanna Durbin quite a bit. So, then you got Last Time I Saw Paris, The Merry Little Waltz, Sinbad the Sailor, A Couple of Swells, which is a number from Easter Parade, which had Judy Garland and Fred Astaire in it. And Ethel Merman's classic, There's No Business Like Show Business, like no business I know. Yeah. And Tracy Hepburn, Cypress Garden Water Ski Spectacular, and of course, That's Entertainment. And then, of course, you got the end credits, which is not a song, it's just part of the thing. But yes, you also have Lena Horne, who's in here. A lot of people have not really seen Lena Horne. Esther Williams, who was the mermaid of MGM Studios, because most of her films were actually filmed underwater, so you get to see a lot of classic underwater sequences in that one. Okay, I'll put this one away here. And get ready for the classic That's Entertainment Part 3. Part 3, yes. I know, I hope I'm not boring anybody talking about musicals, but I absolutely...
It was picked for this week?
It was picked for this week. This is what they wanted to hear, so...
That's what they get.
Put it at your own risk. Talking about musicals, I know because I know some people aren't into musicals, but if it's something they want to talk about, they talk about musicals. Okay. My Pet Singing in the Rain. Okay, for this one, of course, again, you get Turner Classic host Robert Osborne, who I really think really makes a lot of these as good as they are, because sure, you can have all the musicals in this, but if you have Robert Osborne doing the introduction, it's fantastic. And you got Esther Williams, June Allison, Sid Charisse, Debbie Reynolds, You Are My Lucky Star. Yep. You Stepped Out of a Dream, she did that song too. Thanks a Lot But No Thanks. Walt Serenade, Shaking the Blues Away, that's another good one here. On the Town, Baby You Knock Me Out. I don't know if I'd ever heard that song, or I haven't heard it in a long time. Two-Faced Woman, no comment. Let's see, Jungle Roomba. I don't know if I could even say that right. Jungle Roomba, The Dance of Fury. Shaboom, Papa, Mama, Yo Quiero. Lena Horne does Where or When, or Just One of Those Things. Ain't It the Truth, Cotton Blossom. Can't Help Lovin' That Man. I'm an Indian Too, Doing What Comes Naturally. Well, the I'm an Indian Too and Doing What Comes Naturally, Judy Garland at the time when they did Annie Get Their Gun, before they got her replacement, they actually had Judy Garland. Judy Garland actually did a lot of these numbers and stuff, and they had filmed a lot of her. Yes, it was Betty Hutton. Betty Hutton was the one, because she did a movie called Perils of Pauline. But she also was the one that replaced Judy Garland in Annie Get Your Gun, which was another good classic musical. Mickey Rooney, I Wish I Were in Love Again. And yes, then we get to one of my favorite musical of all time, The Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz says, You're off to see the wizard over the rainbow. How about you was part of that, but there's like a different bunch here, Over the Rainbow, because that was Judy Garland's classic signature song. And March of the Dogies, Mr. Monotony, Ann Miller does It only happens when I dance with you. Hi-ho, the gang's all here. Jukebox dance, coffee, and then coffee time, drum crazy. I guess was a different one here. It's Howard Keel, where they talk about stereophonic sound. That is a musical number in a movie, and it was actually alluding to the fact that MGM, at the point they were doing this film, I believe it was the 50s, they were coming in with stereophonic sound, which would be sound enhanced to make the movie sound even better. And Shaking the Blues Away, and Coda, once again, that's entertainment. And some of the numbers weren't in this set, were not actually theater released. They actually released them around the time they started coming out with the tapes and later these discs. That's entertainment. Then we go to That's Entertainment, Treasures from the Vault. It's not really a lot of, there's not an insert in this one, but it goes into the 25th anniversary newsreel, which brings back a lot of the MGM studio stars. You got the 1974 featurette, Just One More Time, and the featurette, The Lion Roars Again, when they talk and elaborate a little bit on the history of MGM. And then they appear on the Mike Douglas Show in 76 with many of the stars. And you got Side B on this, has musical outtake jukebox of more than a dozen delightful numbers left on the cutting room floor. So with every movie that did, even the musicals, there was a lot of numbers that just couldn't quite make it into the finished film due to time constraints. So then they ended up on the cutting room floor, and then what happened is when you come out with these collaborations, and you would just put them in there. And
other musicals would be what, Sister Act?
Was that?
Would Sister Act movies be kind of?
You can put a little bit of musical into that because Sister Act was great. It was, you get a lot of good singing from Whoopi Goldberg and the nuns. So I thought it was really fantastic myself. And yeah, she made 2, and I believe right now she's actually working on a 3rd one. There, you heard it here first. She's actually working on a 3rd Sister Act. So anybody that was a fan of that.
What about Crybaby?
Well, Crybaby.
More of a drama, but it had music.
Yes, Crybaby with Johnny Depp and Amy Loughlin. That, I don't know if I talked about that on the show before. I might have mentioned it. But yeah, Crybaby, directed by John Walters. That was a really, really good film. Like some people would call it, again, like a cult comedy classic. But there's so much music in it. It's definitely a musical. And yes, I wanted to mention that the new Joker movie, which is out in 2024, is actually going to be a musical. Believe it or not, the new Joker movie. And Lady Gaga is playing Harley Quinn in this one.
Oh, I gotta watch that one.
Yeah, she's gonna be, she's playing Harley Quinn, so they did a trailer that I actually posted on Love of Movies, and she and Joker do the dancing cheek-to-cheek number. You don't really see them, it's like shadows, but you have to watch it to really find out. And yes, my sister wanted me to mention Julie Andrews, of course. Julie Andrews in the classic The Sound of Music.
Well, no, I didn't, just because that's a musical, but
that's the epitome of musicals, believe it or not. That's actually
I'm not a big fan of it, I just know it was a musical.
Yeah, it's the epitome of musicals, actually.
Same as Pitch Perfect.
And Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, yes, with Dick Van Dyke and the late Sally Ann House, which was also a great musical, and absolutely loved it. Don't sing the song because it gets very addictive after a while. But in the 70s, you had Cabaret with Liza Minnelli. That was a great musical. And Give My Regards to Broad Street with Paul McCartney. And trying to figure out a lot of it. Believe it or not, I actually have one at home called Score. Score, a hockey musical. It's like a movie about a hockey player and, a young guy that wants to get into professional hockey. And there's a lot of musical numbers in that. And Walter Gretzky himself makes an appearance in it. So it's great. So, yeah, there's the new Joker one really is, I guess it's slated to bring back the appeal of the musical. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. But anyway, That's a lot about musicals. And right now, I just want to say thank you for putting up with the theme of musicals. But again, like my sister said, that's what you wanted. That's what we do. We strive to please. So this is Paula Westbrook reminding you to like and subscribe to our channel. Please leave a comment at the bottom. I can't do it in sing-song, sorry. But you got to hear a little bit of my singing in the presentation. But this is Paula Westbrook reminding you to be good to each other, and I'll be seeing you at the movies. Bye-bye.